a YAML pipeline. That pipeline will be available for you as a source code file in your repository. Yesterday we have seen that. Now, classic pipelines are very good. They are running fine. We can do many modifications, many things. Why we need to move to YAML pipelines? What is the importance of YAML pipelines and what are the benefits of YAML pipelines? If YAML is that much good, why people are still using classic pipeline? So when you say YAML is very good, definitely see whenever a software or any application, if it is completely fine, then no one will use it. Okay? Why? Because no company will make a completely fine product. By knowing, even with their knowledge, wantedly they will make some issues or some problems in the software application. With the issues and with the problems only, they will release the product into market. These all are marketing strategies. If I give you one thing which is completely working fine, then you never come to me. So that's why I will give you something which you will get problems after 1 month or 6 months or 1 year, so that you will come back to me. So this way, classic pipelines has some limitations. People are not happy. Even though they are easy to create, they are easy to use, but they have some limitations. Some functionalities are not available. And you have seen, if you want to share your classic pipeline with some other team members, you can't share. Even to share your pipeline with some other people, you need to convert into YAML. Then only you can share. So that's one of the major benefit over classic pipeline to YAML. So classic pipelines cannot be shared and cannot be recreated. So YAMLs are easy and YAMLs can be saved as a file. YAMLs can be saved as a file in your source code repository, so that if tomorrow someone takes your source code, along with your source code, they will get your pipeline as well. They just need to go to Azure Pipelines, create a pipeline and import the existing YAML file. Now let us see our YAML file. So this is our simple YAML file. We have a trigger, we have a pool, we have a job, the job name and the step. So when I go to YAML pipelines, okay, so here I am creating a new pipeline. But when I go to releases, so here if you see new release pipeline, so do we have any option for YAML here? Nothing. They have directly given a template to select. So if I select a template, it will create me a classic pipeline only. It will create me a classic pipeline only. So let me choose some random build artifact as well. See, this is the release pipeline. Okay. So is there any option to create a release pipeline in YAML? No, there is no option to create a separate release pipeline in YAML. Then how can I create a release pipeline in YAML? That's the point comes. The one more advantages of YAML pipelines. So YAML pipelines are very useful when you wanted to create both build and release in single pipeline. Why? Because YAML will be used to have multiple stages. Okay, here stages means not the release pipeline stages. In YAML pipeline, stages means first stage will be build job, second stage will be test job, third stage will be deployment job. Now I will show you a sample YAML pipeline. Wait a minute. See, so here I have trigger is common for all the pipelines, then pool, then variables. Then if you see here, stages. So this stage is build. So which means this entire stage, okay, this entire stage will contain the build steps. Whatever we do as part of build pipeline, this will contain all the build steps. The next stage is deploy. So this stage will contain all the steps that you do in release pipeline. So here we are creating single pipeline for both build and release. So YAML supports integrating both pipelines into one single pipeline. So there won't be two separate pipelines like build pipeline, release pipeline. If you are creating YAML pipeline, which means you can first create build pipeline. If you want to release the same, you need to convert the pipeline into stages. First stage will be build stage, second stage will be deploy stage. So in the build stage, you will define the jobs. We already know the syntax. See here. So the jobs, inside the jobs, there will be some steps and the steps will have some tasks. Same. So here I have jobs. Inside the jobs, I have some steps. Those steps are nothing but tasks. First is NuGet install, then NuGet restore, then Visual Studio build, then Visual Studio test, then publish the build artifacts. Then publish the build artifacts. Now let me show you a classic pipeline where you can see all these steps. There are 4 steps, right? I think 5. Yeah. See, one task, second, third, fourth, fifth. So there are 5 tasks. In this pipeline, you can see those 5 tasks. Yeah, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So NuGet build, test, publish. So here we have another NuGet. So this is restore. So first one is restore, right? First one is restore. Next one is build. See, this is build. Okay, then build. Next one is test. See, test. Then test. After that, publish. After that, publish. Where are you publishing? Build artifact staging directory. You can see here. See, build artifact staging directory. So all these classic steps are converted into YAML. So here I have all the steps grouped into one stage. That stage name is called build. Then deploy. So here I don't have deploy steps. I need to go to releases. So I have a release pipeline where I want to deploy to Azure. Yes. Now here if you see, so what I'm doing in release pipeline, there is single task. Okay, there is single task with a job. See, there is single job, single task. This is the task, this is the job. So in job, you see, we have an option. Artifact download. Okay, artifact download. So first you need to download the artifact, then you will deploy. Then you will deploy in Azure. Here you see. So this is my deploy stage. First step. See here you have steps. Here I have steps. First step is download artifacts. Then deploy to Azure Web App. Deploy to Azure Web App. You can see everything. So connection type Azure RM, connection name Azure connection. Here you can see. So connection name Azure connection, right? Then app service type web app on Windows. Okay, so here no app service type, but the app name is there. My app 929. See here I have given different name. Rajesh website 929. Earlier this is my app 929. So that is a web app. That is a web app. So package system.artifactory which has zip file. Same here. See system.working directory which has zip file. Which has zip file. So this artifact directory comes here from here. Why? Because you have downloaded the artifact to this folder. So when I am deploying, I need to use this folder only. In this case, that is different folder. See here, default working directory. This one. This is default working directory. So I am taking the things from default working directory. But here I am downloading it to different folder. This is all about name only. I can give any name. This way, you will have both release and build pipeline into one single pipeline when you are creating pipelines in YAML. It is another best example. I mean, another benefit, another advantage with YAML. Okay. So when you are creating pipelines with YAML, there won't be two different pipelines for build and release. Both the steps, whatever you are performing as part of build and release, both will be integrated into one single pipeline. That is the best part. Even the single pipeline also, it will be committed to your repository. See here, I'm into master branch sample website. I'm into master branch sample website. So if I go to this repository, here I have sample website and master branch. See, I have a pipeline, Azure pipelines.yaml. Yes, right? Azure pipelines.yaml. Even this multi-stage YAML pipeline also will be committed as a file to your repository. If tomorrow someone takes this repository or clones this repository, or even they can download this repository, download as a zip, they will get this pipeline. They will get this pipeline. So they no need to worry. Hey man, I got the entire code, but I don't know how to build it. No need to worry. You have the pipeline already there as committed as a YAML file in your repository itself. Just to use the YAML file and create a pipeline. So the pipeline will build for you and the pipeline will deploy for you. It will deploy also. It's only that observe the pipeline. So what is the app name? So my app 929. And what is the connection name? Azure connection. Make sure that you create this app in Azure and create a service connection called Azure connection. And create a service connection called Azure service connection. So there are multiple tasks and multiple options. Can I modify these things? Why? Because these all are written in a code. But till today, we are habituated for classic pipelines. How we expect? We expect a task should be opened and add the values, modify the values. But here, how can I add the values? How can I modify the values? So if you clearly observe on every task, above the task title, we have some button settings. So we have a button called settings. If you click on the settings, this will open our classic pipeline task editor page. See here. So this is Azure RM web app deployment task. If I click on the settings, see it opened the settings page. Now being an engineer who worked mostly on classic pipeline, now this is easy for you to modify. If your lead or if your manager asks you to write all these steps in this code itself, you may be confused. Oh God, I don't know YAML properly. How can I write this code? So nothing to worry. If tomorrow your manager or your lead want to add one more task. So here they wanted to add one more task. So go to the line, keep your cursor on itself. In your YAML editor page, there is a small button called Show Assistant. This is show assistant is nothing but add tasks in our classic pipeline. This is show assistant is nothing but, let me show you. I think this is YAML one. No. See, there are only one job. If you want to add another job, what you will do? You will click on this, add. So you got all the tasks. The same way, in your YAML also, if you want to add additional task, you don't know how to write the code. Just keep the cursor at the required place. See, if I keep cursor here, it's okay. Now, if I go for show assistant, see, I got all the tasks. These tasks are nothing but these tasks. But the only difference between classic and YAML is you will not have this categorization. You will not have this categorization. They are openly displayed. No categorization. Whether it is build task. Why there is no categorization? Just now I told you, YAML pipeline is not two separate pipelines. There won't be build pipeline, there won't be release pipeline. YAML is both combined. If you want to build, there will be only one pipeline. If you want to build and release, there will be only one pipeline. Even if you want to build, test, release, deploy, or install package, anything, everything will be single pipeline. That way there is no categorization in YAML tasks. All are comes under one single pipeline only. But here there is a categorization. If you want to build, go for build page. If you want to deploy, go for deploy page. Here it's not like that. Okay. Now, as I said, I want to add another task. I don't know how to write the code. Let's consider our PowerShell job only. See, I got a PowerShell. I selected PowerShell. You are already sure what is PowerShell. PowerShell will ask you either file path or inline script. Where is the path? Where are the references? I will go for inline. Hello world. One more line. Right host. This task was added from task pane. Okay. Task panel. Let me task panel. See, done. I have written a script. Add. See the task added. There is a lot of code. You don't need to write the entire code. So task name is PowerShell, target type inline. You have seen, right? So I have written script inline. There is no file path and the actual script. This is a script I have written. So why I asked you to keep the cursor here? Let's say the same task. If I keep the cursor here, somewhere here, okay, somewhere here. Okay, keep the cursor here. By mistake, I'm working on something, but I don't see that cursor is here. Now I'm going for adding a task. See, wherever you place your cursor, the task will be added there. See the task added here. Actually, the task needs to be added at the end of the pipeline. But by mistake, while checking something, I placed my cursor somewhere and I added the task, but the task added here. So which will show you this is completely wrong. Your task should not be here. Because tasks always needs to be under steps. But here task was given and below pool. This is wrong. This is wrong. So that's why. So when you are using classic editor kind of thing, when you are using this panel to add tasks, please make sure where is your cursor. Okay, even if you don't know to write this entire code, no need to worry. We have classic pipeline kind of task panel is readily available. If you want to add any task, just to go to the respective place. See here, okay. For every task, there is a line gap. So here also have given a line gap. Now I want to add it something. Let's say I want to run some bash script. The bash script. Bash script definitely want a path. I can't write inline script. That's the problem with bash script. Let it be. We have some task copy files, right? Copy files. See, now where is the source folder? What is the target folder? Where is the source folder? What is the target folder? Source folder, let it be. I will give random names. I'm just trying to add. C colon users is a source folder and target folder is C colon desktop. Okay, add. See, a task added completely. Okay, task added completely. So if a task is already added and you want to modify, same. Just select the task. Definitely above the task, there will be a button settings. So generally this button will be in grade mode. People will see, okay, settings is something by mistake added. There is no. In our Azure pipelines in YAML, this settings is a button, guys. Please make sure that you know the settings button. Otherwise, you will face a lot of problems. This settings is a button. It's not a text. So place your mouse there, then you will see it as a button. You click on the settings, it will open the task editing page. Okay. So this panel will be always hidden. If you want to see the panel, you need to click on show assistant. So this is kind of your assistant to add these tasks. If you know YAML coding, very good, you can write directly. You don't need to go to this assistant. Definitely you will not be sure about the YAML task. So I'm openly saying even till today, I'm not clear on some tasks. Even till today, I'm not clear on some tasks. So I always prefer verifying this show assistant. Verifying this show assistant. If you see here, I will add some task. Okay, IAS web app deploy. The web app name is my site. Let me check where is my cursor. I need to make sure my cursor is here. Okay, my site. The only mandatory one is this one. Okay, my site. This one add. Okay, I added this task, right? But this has many things to manage. This has many things to manage. So if I add this task, my pipeline will fail. My pipeline will fail. Why? Because before I deploy any website, first I need to create an app pool. For that, I need to add another task. That is web app manage. So create website. First I need to create a website, then only I need to deploy the website. So which means if I even add this single task, this will fail. So here I need to add this task. So create website, here my site, no mandatory things, add. See, there will be some specific order. Okay. Now you observe my pipeline is ready. How can you confirm that your pipeline is good or bad or if there are any errors? So YAML has a very good habit. It will highlight the errors. It will highlight the errors. If the error is simple, okay, there are there are multiple types of errors. Errors are something like kind of warnings, information, error. There are multiple levels in errors. Okay, not error. There are multiple levels in issues, whether it is warning or error or information or anything. So here it is displaying in yellow color, which means it is only warning. It is not an error. Okay. Now if I place this here, see here it will display red color. Red color means error. Here it is displaying light yellow or orange. So you can observe the color. See, this is something kind of yellow. So this is warning, not an error. But here it is red color, it is error. Even if you miss to see here it is highlighting. So if I am checking here, in this section, no errors. Okay. In this section, no errors. But if you see that view, there are two highlighted parts. Let me zoom it. Yeah, see, there are two highlighted parts. One is yellow, one is red. So yellow means warning, red means error. You can see here. See, this one. So this is unexpected property type input. So it should be like this. Okay. See, all errors are covered. The mistake was here, but the error was here. If I just give a space, this error got cleared. So that's called indentation. If you see here, see bad indentation. So what is indentation? Indentation means the structure, how you are writing the YAML file. So where you need to give a space, where you need to give a tab, everything. Now if you see, I will remove this. I mean, I will give an extra space. These errors will be covered. Okay, now there are no errors, but I will try to give some name here. The entire code is wrong. Entire code is wrong. So why? Because this is called parent parameter. So if you are giving any parent parameter, okay, if the parent parameter has values, they should not be child values. There should not be child values. If the parent parameter does not have value, definitely it will expect child values. Okay, YAML will always be in key value pair structure. Okay, key value pair. What is key value pair? If you remember in variables we are creating a variable name, and then for that variable there will be a value. Same here also. Consider this as a variable. What is the value for this? Now I have given my input. No, actually there is no value for this. There is no value for this. Then from where I can get the value? This is the parent parameter. There are some child parameters. So all the child parameters will definitely have some value. If I remove this value, again it will show error. Control X. It will be empty. It will be empty. So in pipeline, wherever there is a website name, it will consider it as empty value only. Now it is not showing error, but if you run this pipeline will fail, giving you error that website name was not specified. Website name was not specified. So parent parameter, if the parent parameter has a value, definitely it won't expect any child values. If the parameter does not have values, then it will expect child values. This is called key value pair structure. So this is the key and this is the value. This is the key, but there is no value. All the values can be taken from below values. That's why we called them as inputs. Here also we have inputs. What are all the inputs? These are all the inputs. So input should be from child only. So this is the task name. Yes, there is a value for task. There are no sub values for task. Why? Because task itself is single value. It has some value. Sorry, single parameter, it has some value. But inputs, there are multiple inputs. So I cannot give on this only. So I will define all the inputs here. Inputs cannot be single value. You can take any task. Definitely there will be multiple inputs. Okay. Oh, let me go back. Yeah. So these all are additional added tasks. We don't want these tasks from here. Okay. And sometimes what happens, once they add the task, they will expand or close or collapse. Collapse is the word. So they will collapse the task. See here, closed, 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 closed. So there are 4 tasks. If you want to see the entire task, you need to expand. Sometimes what happens, if you are new to YAML, you may expect, okay, this task is a single line task. No, this task is not single line task. So there are some steps involved in this task. How can you monitor? How can you observe? See the count 87, 95. So this is 87, this is 95. Almost there are 7 or 8 lines of script is there. So if you expand, you can see the script. You can see the script. So this collapse option will be available at the parent parameter level. I told you, right? This is kind of parent parameter. See here I have collapse button. Again, this is parent parameter. Here I have collapse button. On the top also, see if I consider stage as a parent parameter, so I have collapse button. Now there is no steps at all. After 56, you will see empty. You will find what is this, Rajesh? There is a deploy stage. I am not seeing any steps. Clearly observe the step. There will be expand button. Expand the step. So we have all the steps available there. Okay. Now these all are unnecessary tasks. So I am deleting them. Yeah. Okay. Now for build, okay. Build is running fine. But when you are deploying, okay, when you are deploying, YAML has one mandatory parameter. Okay, YAML has one mandatory parameter which you don't give, your pipeline will fail. Why? Because whenever you design a deployment, okay, whenever you design or whenever you define a deployment within a YAML pipeline, YAML will always expect to which environment I am going to deploy. Okay, to which environment I am going to deploy. Whereas in classic pipeline, okay, in classic pipeline, if you consider the releases, edit. See, this is the task. These are the steps. Okay, this is the job and these are the tasks. But where I'm going to run, I'm going to run this in an environment. So stage name is local environment. So don't get confused with stage. Why? Because stage is different in the classic pipeline and stage is different in YAML pipeline. So here I'm going to deploy into local environment. The same way, it expects some value in YAML also. But how can you create those environments? How can you create those environments? Here we created a stage. If you want to create another stage, you can go here, add a new stage, and you can name the stage as test. So now I have empty test environment created. I can add some jobs and tasks. But here in YAML, where you can create those environments, so you cannot create here. So that's the reason we create environments here. We create environments here. See, so we create environments here. So the same YAML pipeline can be used to deploy into Azure App Services or to deploy into local servers. So when you are deploying into local servers, then you need to create an environment and you need to add a server wherever you want to deploy it. But when you want to deploy into Azure, you no need to create any servers or add servers. Just to create the environment, it will deploy. It will deploy based on that environment definition. Now let's see it practically. So if I go to pipelines, sample website, edit. See here I am defining. So if I go to deploy stage, see here I have the environment name, development. Now let's me. So comment. So if you give hash symbol, okay, if you give hash symbol, that means the line is commented, which YAML considers that this line need not to be used. See here also on top we have some comments. These all are comments. Comments means they are not actual code. So don't use these lines. Here also if you see agent VM image name. Okay, agent VM image name. So these all are actual comments. They will not be considered. Now what I will do? I will save. When I save this, it will run automatically. See, failed. Sample website already failed. Why? Because let's see the error. Let's see the error. See, environment is required. Environment is required. If there is no environment, your pipeline will not run. This is same kind of thing. See, this environment is required. When there is no environment, there are no jobs, no tasks. If I remove this job, if I delete this, so where I can, even if I delete this, so if I delete this, see, I have artifact ready, but where you want me to deploy? When there is no environments, no stages, nothing. The same way, we have created a YAML pipeline to deploy something, but where I need to deploy? Where I need to deploy? So that's the reason. Again, go to edit. Go to edit. So there are couple of benefits. So when a pipeline, YAML pipeline fails, you no need to go to the pipeline only. You no need to go to the pipeline only. You can verify the changes in the repos as well. You can verify the changes in the repos as well. So what is the error says? The error says environment is required, which means, okay, there is a problem at environment level. Go to your repo, verify the YAML file. So definitely you will find the change. Okay, environment is commented. Okay, environment is commented. Now you can edit here itself. No need to go to the pipeline. Let's see here. Okay, you no need to edit here. You can edit in the repos itself. If I edit here, then save. So I'm removing the comment. Now commit. Commit is saving. Commit. Now if you see this, the pipeline will start automatically. See, a pipeline started automatically. How this pipeline started? I have not done anything in pipelines. Okay, I have not done anything in pipelines. But I modified something in the repo. But the pipeline started automatically. What is this? Whenever you make any changes in the repository, the pipeline getting triggered automatically. So what is this called?
CI.
Right. So this is the additional benefit of YAML pipelines. YAML pipelines comes with by default CI enabled. If you want to create YAML pipeline, you should be ready for CI trigger. See, that's the reason. When I modify this pipeline in repository, the moment I committed, a pipeline started, obviously it is showing as CI only. It is showing as CI only. This pipeline will get fail. Why? Because first it is running the build job. See, build stage succeeded. Now it is going for deploy stage. Deploy stage will get failed. Why? Because there is no app service in Azure portal. There is no app service in Azure portal. Wait a minute. She failed. So my app 929 doesn't exist. Resource should exist before deployment. I know. Why? Because here there is no app service. I have removed all the resources in Azure. Why? Because those all are paid for me. I need to pay for them. They are not free. So if you go back, if you see the pipeline, how many stages are there in the pipeline? Two stages. One is build. See, build stage success. Another one is deploy stage failed. Which means your build pipeline is success, release pipeline is failed. Why release pipeline failed? Because there is no app service created in Azure portal. Simple. So earlier there is a app service created. So the build stage and the release stage both are succeeded. Okay. See, build stage, release stage. That means build pipeline, release pipeline. And the YAML pipeline comes with by default CI enabled. By default CI enabled. Now if I go for pipelines, edit. So you are saying, Rajesh, by default CI enabled. How can I disable? How can I disable? Yes. See, people will say YAML is always about coding. No, it's not always about coding. YAML also has all options which has classic pipeline. So you want to change the trigger. You want to change the trigger. Yes, we have option. See here, let's see these variables, guys, before going for triggers. Variables. We know how to add variables in classic pipelines, right? The same way, here also we can add variables in YAML pipelines. Just to click on these variables. So this is the variables page. Create a new variable. Let's have the variable as username. The value is Rajesham. Okay. Okay. Now then I want to add another variable which is password. So what is the value? Admin at 123. This is visible to everyone. I want to lock this. Keep this value secret is nothing but lock button, guys. How you used to lock in classic pipelines? This is lock. See, now that is hidden. Now that is hidden. Okay. So this is how you create variables. This is how you create variables. What if I have some variables in variable group? Okay. Here I created two variables. Here I created two variables. What if I have some variables in a variable group? Do we have any variables created? I'm not sure. Let me check. Library. I think we have a variable group. Yes, we have a variable group, right? So I have variable group. Are there any values? Yes, there is a value, password. Now I want to use this variable group value in my pipeline. What I will do, I will remove this password. Okay, save. Now I want to add that variable group in YAML pipeline. This variable group. How can we add? There is a separate syntax and there is a separate code for that. Now, even I am not sure. I need to verify variable groups in YAML. So it will directly take you to docs.microsoft.com only. It's always better to verify docs.microsoft.com only. Don't go for any other website. If you are checking something related to Azure DevOps or any Microsoft service, always prefer Microsoft Docs only. If you don't get there, then go for other values or other websites. So you can't create variable groups, but you can use variable group. Okay, you can use variable group. See how you can create? So this is the value. So variables, group name, and the value name. So this should be added on top, guys. See here I have variables, right? Here I have variables. So I already have some variables defined. So what I need to do be something like this. Group. So the group name, what is the group name? So here I have the group name. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, then group name. Then what is the value? So it's password, right? Now let's verify the syntax. So then name of the value and the value. So here name. What is the name? The name is password. Actually, the name is password. It's not the value. The name is password. The value is minute 123. This is how you define variable group values. Now this will take. Let me do one thing. We wanted to try this, right? There is some error. Okay, see, there is an extra space. You can see here, because of extra space, it is displaying some error. Why there is an error? Invalid YAML structure. Why so? Okay, let me do one thing. Yes. No, this is only warning, unexpected property. No problem. Actually, these all are common. That's the reason. So this is a separate pipeline. So I don't want to save this, leave. So how can you define variables in YAML? Let me go through that first. So if I go for a sample pipeline, new pipeline. Okay. YAML, consider some repo, some initial repo, starter pipeline. So this will be sample pipeline. So I prefer YAML, guys, because see, when you give full form YAML, it's easy for you to understand. Okay, here I will add, I will remove this task. Okay, this one is not required for me. So on this, I will add PowerShell task. Okay, PowerShell task, inline script. So here, right host, this was executed by env user name used password on env. Think it should be braces. I'm not wrong. Just me, but I'm not sure. Okay, yes. So this is wrong. It should not be braces. Oh, I have two variables. So one variable I will create here itself. That variable name is username Rajesh. Okay. So when I'm using in PowerShell, so this is the script. See, when you are using in PowerShell, you need to specify like that. Okay. Now where is this password? This password is in variable group. What I can do, I will define the variables here. Variables group. So what is the group name here? This is our group name. And the name is password. Yes. Then the value. So for now, what I will do, I will unlock this. I just want to see the value. Admin at 1, 2, 3. Save. Okay, I'm not locking this. No need actually. When I specify its variable group, I know to specify. I no need to specify the value also. Yeah, if I'm not wrong. I no need to specify the value. Wait a second, guys. Yes. Yeah, no need to specify. So password, environment password. Now this is done. Save and run. Okay, save and run. Now let's see how this goes. So we have variable created in the pipeline itself, and we have variable in the variable group. So we have defined the variable group name. Let's see how this goes. I know. Permit. It's in queued state. It should get, yeah, that's already done. Now see the script. This was executed by Rajesham and password. Okay. Okay. So which means I need to specify the value. Which means I need to specify the value. So here I left empty. So I have not given the value. Here I have not given the value. Okay. So here I need to specify the value. If I specify the value, then I can see that. No, I should not specify the value in the pipeline itself. I already specified the value in the library. Where I am missing? Where I am missing? Something I am missing here. Okay, so this is how I need to specify the value. Variables dot. So it's always about the syntax, guys. Now save. Save. So I'm not giving the value. Let me see what happens in this pipeline. Okay, initial pipeline. It is running. It needs to get the value from the variable group. Yes. Yeah. Hey, what is this, man? Variable.password. Let me do one thing. I'm doing something wrong here. Edit. So I don't want to specify all this. Okay. Password, environment, password. Save. Save. Now if I go with the pipelines run. Yes. So I'm expecting the value from the variable group. That's the reason I'm modifying something. So it's always about the syntax, guys. So YAML syntax is not that easy. So you can see even till today, I'm verifying the documentation page only. Yeah, now I got the value, right? So when you have some variables in the group, you just need to specify the group name only. No need to specify the values. Just specify the group name and directly use the variables in your script. Okay, now I got the variables fetched from the variable group. So this is directly given in the pipeline and this is from the variable group. That's how you specify variables in your YAML pipelines. Okay, now whenever I am modifying the YAML pipeline, it is triggering by default. So how can I avoid that? Let me show you that as well. So why? Because when you are, just a minute, let's keep on running. Obviously it will fail, I know. So pipelines. So the YAML pipelines comes with by default CI trigger. So if you want to avoid that trigger, how can you can do? So here we have the trigger option, right? So we have the trigger option. You need to make this master to none. You need to make this master to none. Or else, if you want to make this change, here it is master, right? We have options here. Here we have triggers. Okay, we have options here. Here we have triggers. So here in this trigger, you can cancel the CI which comes by default with YAML. See, override the YAML CI trigger. Override the YAML CI trigger. Okay, so disable CI. Disable CI. Override and disable CI. So now if you see, CI was disabled. If you modify many times, this won't trigger automatically. This won't trigger automatically. And we have other schedules as same as classic pipeline. You can create a schedule trigger. You can create a build completion trigger. Okay. The triggers are similar to classic pipeline only. Here you need to select override the YAML CI trigger. Why? Because YAML pipelines comes with by default CI trigger. So even if you are working on repository, and you are modifying the YAML pipeline, unknowingly if you are modifying the YAML pipeline and you are committing, which means you are triggering the pipeline every time you modify this file. So that will be a trouble for you. So for that reason, what you do, you can go and disable the CI. So that way you can modify this YAML pipeline as many times as you want. And if you want to include any other branches, you can include. So these are the branches, right? The same, you can include. There are, let's see, I think You have many branches, right? No branches. Okay, there are many branches. You can include any branches. So YAML pipeline also will have all the settings. See variables. I created one variable, right? Username. Okay, not EI. See username. I can link the variable groups here. Don't worry that YAML means every time I need to go to this pipeline only. You can change the repo as well. Everything is available as classic only. Okay. So now you tell me what are the benefits of YAML? So YAML can be shared with many people and the YAML pipeline will be saved as a YAML file in your repository so that in future if someone clones your repository, they will get the pipelines automatically. Another thing, YAML pipeline will have both build and release pipelines integrated together. There will be no two separate pipelines. It will be a single pipeline. And the YAML comes with by default CI trigger. If you don't want to use CI trigger, you can disable the CI trigger. And at the end of the day, YAML is nowadays mostly preferred and most very much used pipeline model. It may be any DevOps tool, Azure DevOps, Jenkins, Kubernetes, Ansible, Terraform, Docker, any tool, they are preferring YAML language to write pipelines or to automate activities. It not only pipeline, any activity. If you want to automate any activity, so there are ways to write your code in YAML. Okay, guys. So try to create multiple pipelines in YAML and try to deploy. So for deploying environments mandatory. So if you want to deploy local, create an environment and add the virtual machines. If you want to deploy cloud, just create the environment and use the environment in YAML. Why? Because you can't add any resources in cloud environment. Okay. So with this, we are closing our session on YAML. In our next session, we will see about agent pools, how to create agent pools and how we can configure agent pools. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys.